What's going on, guys? Mad Lab here. Welcome to the main event breakdown brought to you by the Mayo Media Network. Please click the link below, hit subscribe, comment below on who you think is going to win this fight. Looking for more DFS, MMA DFS content, you can go to the Cody and Paul, the Dog and Pass podcast. Check them out. They break that down the entire card in detail. Also, check out Brett Apley. He does his fade of the week, cash game play of the week, all that good stuff. So he gives you some nooks and crannies in there. So definitely check both of those out for some more detail. I, for one, am in charge for the main event. I believe we hit 7 of our last 8 main events. We're back on the winning track with Dustin Poirier after losing the Volkov fight. We're going to try to keep it going now, make it 8 of 9. Or I think that's where our 8 of 9 if we win this week. This fight honestly doesn't need that much detail orientation. If you really think about it and you really want to be honest, and I'm a very honest person, it's not the kind of fight that you need to rip all this crazy film and do all these crazy things. You just don't need to do it. There's just some proof in pudding and just the way things are landscaped and the business and the model of the way everything is landscaped in all sports, that this fight just seems like it's going to go one way. The Vegas sees it that way. I see it that way. And if people are going to come on here and make a major hardcore excuse for Moises, I get it, but it's kind of just to fill up some airtime. I do believe Moises is a good fighter. I do believe that he has, progressed a lot since he's been in the UFC. A while back, if he had the fight against Alexander Hernandez, and Alexander Hernandez maybe was right after he fought Beneil Dariush and had that shocking showing, maybe it would look a lot better. But we've seen Alexander Hernandez. He has shown some serious holes in his game, and he hasn't looked fantastic, in quite a bit. So, good win. It showed a different temperament in Moises. He was pushing forward. This is a guy who's more notably known to being a very good grappler, which he is. But he showed some good hands. He showed a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, which I like. And he definitely is going through his progressions from fight to fight, which I do like. However, he's fighting a guy in Islam Makhachev, and the thing that I like about him is he's getting majority of his hype without the company behind him, without media really pushing him. He's doing it in a way almost like Khabib did it, right? I mean, Khabib was really never in the forefront, was never in the spotlight. He wasn't like a McGregor that was really being pushed. Wasn't like a Ronda Rousey who was being pushed. He did it with his fighting. There's no doubt that Islam Makhachev does have some hype behind him because of who he is. He's coming from Khabib's camp. His father said that when Khabib retires, he wants Islam to be the next champion. So there is something to be said about that when you are training under the GOAT, and you trained under his father's tutelage this whole time. So there, without a doubt, is something to be said for that. But he's not out there, and he's not trying to market himself, and he's not trying to do all these crazy things. He does have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He does do some spotty call-outs on interviews and stuff like that. But outside of that, he's doing it with his skill set. He's doing it with his work. This is a guy who's got extremely good top game, very, very pressure. He will shoot for more submissions than Khabib will. I believe that his striking is a little better than Khabib's at this point in time where they were in their careers. So the guy's upside goes like this. His transitions, his cage awareness. Just everything about him is he's got future champion written all over him. I don't know if he's ready yet, but I can tell you one thing. If he was fighting any of these really, really upper echelon guys, it would be interesting. I mean, it would be really, really, really interesting. Like, it's not a fight where I'm like, oh, well, he's not ready yet. It's a fight where maybe he is ready. Maybe he is ready for all these top tier fights. I don't know, because the guy just looks tremendous. Like, he does things. When I watch fights, and I know a lot of people... Excuse me, that was my phone that fell. I know a lot of people will say, all right, well, what are you seeing here? Or what's going on? What can he do in the next round? I'll point things out. I can point things out because I've been there. I understand it. But when I see some of the things that he does, the way he, goes from blueprint A to blueprint B and makes his adjustments or his transitions, he loses me sometimes. Like, I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about doing that. You know what I mean? So it's like he's very cerebral. He's very ahead of his opponent, which is great. We've never really seen him murked. Like, you know what I mean? We've never really seen him cracked. For all we know, his chin can be a little suspect because we've never seen him in that that situation. He's never had to be in that situation. he finds ways to keep himself out of that situation. And that's a very good fighter. So now he's, in this spot here where is Moises someone where if he beats Moises, they're going to be like, oh my God, he's ready? No, he's not. But Moises is a tough customer. This is a guy who's got very good grappling. He's not going to be able to take him down and just submit him. Moises probably will be able to keep up with him for the most part on the ground. Moises does have a tricky stand-up. I would say that Makhachev's stand-up is good. It's smart. It's crisp. It's well thought out. But there's certain areas of the fight where Moises may be able to make things interesting. I just don't think in 25 minutes Moises is going to be able to encapsulate enough to win the fight. I don't think he's going to be able to checkmate Makhachev enough to win the fight. You know what I mean? You have to be able to, if you're going to win a decision, you're going to have to be able to outperform your fighter more than he can outperform you in 25 minutes, and I don't see that happening. I see him maybe putting him into a couple spots, maybe making things interesting for a minute or two, maybe 30 seconds in a round, 30 seconds in a round. But I just don't see him taking control of the fight for 25 minutes, for 5 rounds, where we're going to sit back and say, wow, this is a close decision. Like, I don't know where this is going to, this could be a split decision. I'd be shocked if Moises can hang for 25 minutes and keep the pace, keep the control, checkmate him in every round here and there, put some detours up where Makhachev gets lost. I find it hard to believe. I think he may be able to do it once or twice within the fight, maybe 3 times. But to say that he's going to be able to do it consistently for 25 minutes, I don't see it happening. So that's my philosophy on that. Will Makhachev finish him? I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to believe that he's going to be able to finish him by submission. I think Moises is well equipped enough to, defend the submissions and even get some, sub attempts of his own. But it's when he gets on top of you, this smothering top game, if he takes maybe a piece out of Khabib's book and he just starts mauling him and maybe makes him turtle up and, it's just ground and pounding him and maybe the ref steps in, then I see that's where I think the stoppage would come. I don't think it would come in a submission. If Makhachev ends up submitting Moises, that's a huge feather in his cap. But I see a situation where possibly he can take him down, get on top of him, control him a little bit, and pepper him with shots to the point where the ref just steps in and says enough. Other than that, you could see this fight going to the decision, and I don't see Moises outworking him for 25 minutes. He would have to be on the top of his game, and Makhachev would have to have like a gear missing, have a piston loose. Really, it's just an off night for that to happen, and I don't see that happening. When you look at the DraftKings end of it, you look at Makhachev and you say, well, he's a little expensive, 9,400. Yeah, I do get it. But this is a guy where you don't even know where his ceiling is. You don't really know. He shows it in pieces. He shows it when he needs it. And even in a 5-round fight at 9,400, if it goes to the decision, I think he is well equipped enough to cover his value. And if he does get a finish, I think he's well equipped enough to cover his value depending on where it finishes. So I would not fade Makhachev. I would not, look at his price tag and get off of him. I would actually get on to him. And I continue to do that until he proves me wrong. If you look at his 100-plus points, it's 5 of 10. He's sitting at 50%. If you look at his current market value, it's 5 of 10. Still sitting at 50%. But you got to remember that was 3-round fights. You have a 5-round fight now. You have 2 extra rounds. So you got like a fight in 3 quarters, here that he's got to work with, that he can bump that current market value up maybe to 70%. I like him here. I'm gonna, and if you look at Moises at 6,800, he's a punt play, and he should be a punt play, and he's a punt play that maybe you don't want to fade. You know what I mean? Because it is a fight, and anything can happen, and a lot of weight is going to be going towards Makhachev. So if you want to put Moises in the hedge at 2, I have no problems with that. But I'm going to sit 6 to 7. At Makhachev in a 10-round lineup, in a 10 lineups. I just think that he's a very safe play. I mean, as far as the Vegas play, I don't fuck with lines like that. I never did. I never will. At the end of the day, I'm smart enough to know I've been in this game long enough that anything can happen, and I'm not laying that kind of wood on anybody. If you want to tie him into a parlay, have no problems with that. You're still going to probably have to lay a little bit more juice to get your stakes, at an even percentage, but depending on who you tie him in with, I got no problem with Makhachev in a parlay, in a 2-way parlay, in a 3-way parlay. Any way you guys want to tie it together, he is a good parlay piece, but his price is going to be spiked So you're going to have to really manipulate the numbers to get the return that you want. Other than that, I would not bet this fight. I would sit back and really see where he's at. It would give a good measuring stick to show you, like, where is he for 5 rounds? Like, how is his cardio going into the 4th and 5th if it makes it that far? So outside of a parlay piece, I would leave it alone. I wouldn't even take it inside the distance. I wouldn't take by knockout. I wouldn't take by submission. I wouldn't take any of those things. I would just literally stay away from it or add him into a parlay piece. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you think. All comments are welcome. Good luck this weekend.